we want to welcome Mr. Kenyon Congdon with Permit Saige, the next big thing in public sector efficiency.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Good morning, everybody. Pleasure to be here. I'm Kenyon Congdon, the founder and CEO of Permit Saige. I'll leave that up for a second. The QR code will be up at the end as well. In 2007, I was a homeowner contractor putting an addition on my home in Apopka. Over here on the left, that's Chuck. He was the plumbing sub that I hired for the job. Chuck and I became pretty good friends over the years. We've done many projects together. And time out for a second. This beautiful young lady will be graduating from UF in a few weeks. And that little rascal above her, he'll be graduating from Apopka High School and Valencia with his AA, and following his sister to UF in the fall. So can I get a gator chomp, chomp? All right, I promise no more pictures of my kids in the show. So one day, I was complaining to Chuck about the permitting process in Orlando. I had to take so many trips downtown to the Orange County permitting department, bringing new documents for all the different things that I had to do in this project. And I said, this is just awful. And he said, yeah. Chuck said, that's why I don't like to do permitted projects. So fast forward 15 years. In 2022, I was doing a research project with building permit agencies across the country. I visited more than a dozen building permit agencies and observing their operations, looking for ways to improve their efficiency. And the one thing I heard from every single permitting agency was, in this day of everything being online, how come nobody can submit their permit application completely? We have to pre-screen these applications. The first thing they do when they get an application, does it have all the documentation it needs? Are all the forms filled out correctly? And we have to pre-screen it and send it back, sometimes 2 or 3 times, just to get the application in a place where we can proceed with it through the entire application process. So there's the problem. They receive these applications and they immediately have to spend time going back to the applicant to correct problems. In 2024, a survey of permitting agencies said 56% said incomplete permit applications was their #1 problem for processing permits efficiently. So the solution will be to eliminate that step in the process. A step that's now taking sometimes 3, 4, 5 days of go-backs to maximize the revenue for the permitting agency, to increase their operational efficiency, to increase the number of permits that are approved and how quickly they process them, and enhance the customer satisfaction. Maybe Chuck and I will actually enjoy the permitting process. All right, it's a goal. It could be a goal. The market, the Department of Housing and Urban Development says there's 15,000 building permit jurisdictions operating with online systems, processing 1.5 million residential permits every year. And we all know that there's an increased attention in government efficiency these days. At least 3 states already have legislation on the books mandating that permits be processed in a certain amount of time. Residential permits must be processed in 30 days or less. How many agencies do you think are actually succeeding in processing these permits in 30 days? Zero. The average time to process a building permit is 10 weeks. And if you're doing a construction project, are you going to be on the lucky half that's under 10 weeks or the unlucky half that's over 10 weeks? It's a lot of time, a lot of time. So Permit Saige will be a platform agnostic attachment that can go to any public permitting website and assist the applicant in submitting their permit application 100% completely, 100% correct. We will even be able to prevent the applicant from submitting their permit if it doesn't reach a certain threshold of completeness. So I want you to look at the right side of this graph here, where it says proprietary, proprietary. There are dozens of companies that started their permitting systems in the 1990s, or maybe even earlier, and some of them in the early 2000s. So they're 20, 30-year-old technologies. And all of these companies are scrambling to try to shoehorn new technology into these archaic systems, and they are not succeeding because they're running technological problems every step of the way. There are two players that are looking to do this in a platform-agnostic way, and the competition that we found is CivCheck. CivCheck has been around for about 18 months, and they're focusing on the later part of the permitting process where we're doing code compliance reviews, where we're doing EPA reviews, and those things that happen in the meat and potatoes of the permitting process. But my research has shown that the agencies are concerned about just receiving the permit application. So we're focused on the permit application submission part of the sequence. So our main source of revenue will be annual subscriptions based on the population that the agency serves. We'll have implementation fees and training and support. Of course, we'll be continuously training our AI on changes to the permitting process and regulations. Being platform agnostic, our implementation time will be measured in weeks and maybe even days, whereas those proprietary systems are measured in at least months and in many times 2, 3, 4 years to go from contract to live. And we'll have a secondary revenue stream with permitting expediters and other high volume permit applicants where we can provide them features for processing their and keeping track of their permits more efficiently. The team I'm building has over 80 years of experience in public sector and public administration technology. All right, so to recap, the problem is applications being submitted with incorrect data, incomplete data, and go-backs repeatedly, slowing down the permit application process. The solution will be Permit Saige, platform agnostic, a coach sitting next to the applicant, fluent in all the nuances of the building permit they're applying for, making sure that they submit their application and will not require any screening. 15,000 building permit jurisdictions using online permitting and increased focus on government efficiency makes this the right time for Permit Saige to come to the market. I'm Kenyon Congdon. Thank you.
All right, that was a great job. Okay, who has any questions? Scott?
Can you tell us your revenue model?
Yes, so the recurring revenue through subscriptions, right?
From who?
From the agencies, from permitting agencies. You know, the amount that they would spend on the annual subscription will be a tiny fraction of what they're currently spending to pay people to screen permits when they come in.
And will it be a fixed subscription rate, or will it be based on volume or anything like that?
Be based on the population that they serve and the volume of permits that they process.
Rachel.
Have you already grabbed some market share, or is this still like pre-seed,
So we're building our proof of concept right now. Every day we are making progress, baby steps towards the full product.
And did you tell me you're in a couple of facilities right now? Did you tell me that?
No,
Okay.
we're starting to branch out.
Okay.
Yeah, and make those contacts. We want to have our proof of concept in a way that we can actually demonstrate that we can do what we say we're going to do.
Perfect. Good thing. Go ahead.
I just had a question about how you're integrating these into you say that it's platform agnostic, so let's just say I'm trying to submit a permit into Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
How is this able to talk to Orange County to know like exactly what requirements, and how is it that if I went from one county to the next, how is Permit Saige identifying that?
Right. Yeah, so based on the URL of the public portal that the applicant is navigating through, we'll know the jurisdiction that they are trying to submit a permit for. We'll be able to observe their interaction with the site. So if this is someone who's never used Permit Saige before, right? So they don't have an account with Permit Saige, we're going to watch what they're doing. We're going to see what permit they're applying for. And as soon as we know a certain amount of information, we'll be able to help them to complete the permit effectively. And we know based on the URL what jurisdiction they're applying to.
So is this an extension that they would have to bring in beforehand, or are you working with these counties or organizations to
Right.
bring it as some sort of pop-up? Like, how does
Yeah.
that work?
So our proof of concept is going to be a browser extension, but that's not the ultimate goal of the platform. The platform will be integrated by all. Have you ever used a third-party tool on a website where you have to insert a little script in the head tag of the HTML, right? And that enables whatever that head tag does, that script does. For us, it'll call out to our Permit Saige servers and say, hey, the city of Orlando has an applicant that's applying for a permit. And so our UI will get inserted as part of the existing UI of the portal. So that's kind of a technology that's been around for a long time.
Okay, Rupert?
Good morning. Can you go back to the competition table that you had there? So, obviously SIP check has yes and yes. This table, though, doesn't, I prefer more information. Have you seen the quadrant competition charts?
No.
Okay, I would look those up.
Okay.
And I would put this with all the others on that quadrant.
Right.
My question is, how do you stand out? How are you going to stand out head and shoulders above all these others?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Thank you, Rupert. We'll stand out because of that implementation time. If an agency is contracted with any of those proprietary systems, it's going to be years before they have any features to facilitate eliminating the screening part of the process. And that's why the implementation time is so important. We'll be able to be up and running for an agency. We have some tools that are already crawling the web and gathering data from agency websites so that we can train our AI, right? So that's already happening. Our implementation time will just be the amount of time to process a contract and get our head tag script inserted into their public site, and we'll be up and running.
So let me have you clarify for everybody, how does the permitting process work now? You know, where's the where's the snags?
Right.
Walk through. Why does it take 10 weeks?
Oh, good question. Thank you. There's still, even though everything is online, there's still an extremely manual process. You know, human reviews that take time, and they only have so much capacity at the agency to have personnel to do these things. And the proprietary systems, they are built on older technology, so they're not very performant. Their processes are really, in my experience, developer designed, not designed for efficiency and functionality. So if most of these agencies that are online are using a product from one of these companies, they're not able to process things efficiently. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're able to eliminate the human in the loop until we can say, hey, this permit is ready for processing. You'll get one quick review, it will be ready to go, and we'll skip that go back sequence.
Okay, and then the last part of that too is on the subscription model. Are you talking about charging the permitting agency based on the number of people that they have subscribing, or are you looking at possibly a small monthly fee that you have to charge each one of the contractors and people that put in?
Right. No, the agency will pay one fee based on the population that they serve.
Okay.
We will not charge fees to the applicant. Right. There's enough fees in the permitting process already. The only fees that might come into play for the applicant are those high volume permit processors who are, these permit expediters work for large construction companies, Lennar and MI Homes here in Florida, and they process dozens or maybe hundreds of permits every day. So those people will get a benefit from some of our features for the applicant, where we can keep track of the permits, give them metrics on how many permits they've applied in certain jurisdictions or certain types of permits and stuff, and we'll be able to help them process those permits even faster. But also the homeowners and small contractors, they're not going to need those types of productivity features, so they won't need to subscribe to those productivity features. As a homeowner, I've done, just a small handful of projects over 20 years, right? I don't need to pay a subscription for those things to make those go faster. But the permit expediters, they can benefit from it.
Okay, that's good. Sean?
This is a huge problem.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's a nightmare.
Do you have a question?
Without permit, you can't do anything. It's $1 trillion business. You have to show that in the beginning. Rupert touched base on that actually. You can present the same thing in a certain way that people get it in seconds.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem. We can't talk about that. And you have a lot of experience. I mean, I'll spend some time with you separate how to present this one. So I'm not kidding, it's a huge nightmare. Your ability to say that is a critical, so that people, you are unique and you can present it easily. I will spend separate time on that. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Perfect. Murray?
Hey, I like that you're disrupting the industry with AI, but I would suggest in your presentation, when you say, I guess you wanted to say we are fine-tuning the model, not training, because training will take you like around $5 million, training, unless you have brand new model. My question is, my understanding is B2B business,
Yeah.
right? B2B model.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with the cybersecurity and the accuracy of your model?
The accuracy of the model? Yeah, so that is going to be our number one focus as we build the proof of concept, making sure that the AI is giving accurate information, right? And certainly over time, as we train it and process it, it'll get better. That's how all AI is working. So, and from a cybersecurity way, I would have to defer to David, our CTO, on the security part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Denny?
This is a very complex field. You've got permits for like putting a window in and building a house.
Right.
How do you differentiate it? How many different possible categories are there?
Oh, every jurisdiction will classify their permits differently. So yeah, it's huge.
You have a separate price for all these different possibilities.
Oh no, not for the individual permit type, but for the agency. Because even though Winter Garden may classify a residential solar panel system one way, and Winter Park does it a different way, they're still under the hood the same requirements or similar requirements, and we'll get the data from each of those jurisdictions and know the difference between how Winter Park does a solar permit and how Winter Garden does a solar
I
permit.
guess what I'm getting at is how do you differentiate for pricing with this? Because I can't believe you're going to charge a jurisdiction the same thing for somebody putting in a window as somebody building a house.
So it's not, we wouldn't be charging per permit. It's based on the population that the agency serves, the jurisdiction.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
All right.
So much per member or whatever they are.
right.
Okay, makes sense. Rachel?
Do you see yourself eventually partnering with some of your competition, or maybe eventually being bought out by them? Is that
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I can see, again, the fact that you're on any platform, if you position yourself
Right.
a certain way, yeah, they're going to be looking at you, they're going to hire you.
I'm happy to sell it to somebody who's going to ruin it.
We give you millions of dollars. Yeah, one second. Stop.
You brought up the permit expediters, which undoubtedly are doing this across multiple jurisdictions.
Right.
Have you talked with any of them about
Yeah.
what you're creating and possibly getting some of the larger of those to be an advocate for you?
Yes, I serendipitously, my son plays basketball in middle school. One of his teammates' parents is a permit expediter in Winter Garden, right on Tubbs Road. We drove past that place a million times, and she has been helping me with the permit expediter experience. I visited her in their offices and observed how they do things, but certainly need to branch out and get more communication with permit expediters to understand their needs and how we can fill them.
Perfect, all right?
Your revenue model, do you have any numbers right now? Like, I'll charge $1,000, for example, and how did you come up with this number?
Yeah.
How did you structure it?
We don't have those specific numbers yet, right? When we get into understanding our costs in the AI and building the technology and putting it all together, then we'll develop some numbers. To give you an idea of how long we've been working on this, like I've been building the team over the last 3 months, and the team has really just come together over the last month.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Beautiful, thank you.
Good stuff. Go ahead.
Just to understand the scope a little bit better, like a county like Orange County, how many applications are being processed, let's say on a monthly basis, just so that I can understand the scope of, because obviously if it's in the thousands or the hundreds of thousands, there's going to be a lot of server stuff that we need to manage. So I'm just trying to get an understanding of
Right.
how, with some populations being extremely big, how many applications are we talking about, and how are you managing that on the server side, which would be
Right.
quite a challenge.
Yeah. So numbers wise, certainly Orange County would be in the thousands, right? Maybe during the busy season, maybe in 10,000 range, but not much more than that, I don't think. So that's a fairly 1.2 million people or so in the Orlando area. That's probably going to be right in our target zone. Because the smaller municipalities generally will default up to a larger jurisdiction, right? So small cities are going to default up to their county to process their permits.
But I also think we are not necessarily storing the, I'm part of this team, by the way.
Sure.
So we're not necessarily storing the permit application information, we're helping guide them. So for us, the biggest information that we're storing in our service is the guidelines, what the agencies are providing, and things that the rules or logics that are there. But applications are all stored in the proprietary systems.
Yeah, and for scalability, we'll be looking at things like AWS, providing our services so that we can scale. Yeah.
Sean?
As I said before, I see very successful business Monday, easily. Your challenge is, it depends on thousands of people in between, decision makers. For a minute, it's a nightmare. So you want to simplify as best as possible, as soon as possible, focus right here, one town or one county.
Right.
And come up with somebody like your friend you were talking about, based upon that, build a business model first. Make sure you can visualize that. And that's when it starts 1, then start 10, become 100, that's how you build a business. You have it. It's up to you to make it happen, and you have the talent to make it happen. Okay? We'll talk about that. It's easy. I'm not kidding. This is a nightmare. I can get a nightmare. Nobody wants to touch it. This business.
Yeah.
But you have it. You have it in your mind, and you have some people there already. I heard you say, she does this, she does this. Spend time with them. Not interview.
Right.
Conversation.
Right.
Okay, you know what you're up to, and I can help you out on that. I really see it, and this is needed all over the country.
Yeah.
You look at all the buildings, my God, everywhere the buildings. Right? So
Yeah, it's
a good
crazy.
opportunity.
I just got here, could you start over?
Sure.
Speaking
Can I?
of make you laugh today, Rupert,
So I'm sorry I didn't see it, but if you had it, but have you got a timeline for development, launch, and have you spoken to, are you planning on lining up any permitting places to test this?
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That'll be a very important part. In fact, as Jim gets to asking me, what do I need from 1 million cups?
which is the next question.
I can help.
But yeah, no, so timeline, right now it's just a seed, right? It's just a little bit of code that we've written, and every day we probably double the amount of code that we've written, right? So right now our goal is to get to that proof of concept as soon as possible, right? However long it takes, we'll get there. And at that point, we'll understand, all right, what's the next step? What will get us to our MVP at that point? And we'll be able to put the numbers together to understand how much that's going to cost and how many people we need to help us get there.
Would you be able to limit the test to things like additions or small things like, kitchen refurbishing or something like that, just to test it out, the processes and make sure they work?
If that seems to be a way to more effectively get to the proof of concept, we can do that. I mean, our system will already recognize the type of permit that the user is applying for. So understanding that in a platform agnostic way is huge. That was a big first step for us. And really what we're going to focus on now over the next few weeks or unforeseen period of time is getting our AI to be trained on the jurisdictions and the regulations and being able to understand what it means that this applicant is applying for a solar panel permit or something.
Okay, you probably need some more focus, so, yeah, have a chat later.
Rupert wants to have a one-on-one to get that into you
Definitely.
after you're done.
Appreciate that.
You've talked about the different jurisdictions and the civic organizations that will be your clients. Have you determined or can you determine how much money they're going to save by using your system? So, so it's not just an additional expense, but you're able to quantify.
Absolutely.
By doing this, you jurisdiction, Orange County or whatever, are going to save this amount.
Saranya and I are working on getting that data together to be able to answer that question.
That's a good question.
Because, that's going to be absolutely how you sell this thing. I mean, having something that works better is always nice, but if it costs more.
Right.
Well, if you could take it from 10 weeks down to 30 days or less, that in and of itself is going to be a huge difference.
But quantifying that to a dollar amount.
And working with a local agency to establish those kinds of metrics will be critical for us to not just say this is what we think we'll be able to do, but this is what we actually did at City of Ocoee or Winter Garden.
Perfect. All right, so the last question, what can we as the Orlando community of 1 million cups do for you?
Yes, thank you. We are looking for contacts in permitting agencies anywhere in the country, right? We can do the legwork and do cold calls and stuff, but it works much better when we have a personal introduction to a permitting official at a jurisdiction that we can then talk to about being part of the early adopter program and helping us build this system and making sure that it works. So any contacts at building permit agencies, like anywhere in the country, right? We want to have a good geographical distribution of agencies that are working with us. And then that's the agency side. And as we mentioned, permitting expediters or large building construction companies that do a lot of permits, we'd like to get more contacts in those areas. So those are really important to us to be able to observe and communicate with those personas to make sure that we're doing the right thing for them. And the second thing is, it's not urgent right now, but I foresee that very soon we will need some marketing help on our team. With our social media and building our online image. So that's one area that our team is looking to expand our expertise in.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Let me have the.
Thank you.
All right, Kenyon. It's a good thing, so let's go see if we can help. Okay. So I was going to put somebody on the spot this morning, and I thought questions were here, but they weren't. So we're going to do some wins and losses. So, I've been we talked about this early on. How do we kind of help grow and use each other collectively as a community? So this is kind of an opportunity for us to mastermind. What are we doing? What have we done this week that was a success? What did we do this week that we had trouble with? I was trying to get in to talk with this guy, and I'm having trouble getting past the gatekeeper. Okay, anything like that. It doesn't matter. We're all here. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all banging our heads out in the street. Denny.
Just as an example, because of being part of this, recently we reached a deal. Actually, we're going to finalize it on Friday morning with Murray about his company. They distribute a very, very complicated software that's used for the swallowing industry, which sounds not like much, but it's one of the most complicated things that in medicine itself. Saves a lot of money in that. And then just a day ago, we picked up another company that's dealing in a blood marker that tells if there's any development of tumors in the body, which is a good precursor for different cancers and that. And we're going to talk to him also. We've got some ideas there. So just from talking to people in this organization, you find out a lot of good things. Jim and Roger know because they're part of a company that, and Shan's one of our advisor for a company that we were using NASA contracts for. So a lot of good things can come out of this group if you just pay attention.
That's a great point. So, all right, so just to put things into perspective, like I said at the beginning, talk to people because you never know who you meet. The NASA contracts came about from a couple women that showed up when we were over at the UCF incubator. Denny had a conversation with them, found out they were from NASA, told them what he was doing. They said, oh, we have research on that dates back to 1960 or 59 or whatever it was. We'd be happy to work with you on our research. Then, through talking with Murray works a lot with, he's somebody you two need to talk, okay? That's his expertise in there. But now Murray has a company that's working with something that will be able to work with and develop and distribute the product that we're working on, all right? So that's why it's important to be able to come in and be able to meet and talk to people because you don't know who you're going to run into. And like the girls from NASA, who knew they were going to be there that day? Because we have a lot of people like that sometimes that'll just kind of, hey, I'm from out of town. I heard about this. I wanted to come check it out and see what it is. So it's important that you come in, and it's important, especially if you want to try to grow your business and you want to meet people. That's the importance of this. Bring friends back with you. This is, this is more than just hearing somebody have a conversation and share what they're doing with their business, which is critical to the success because we can see the road that they've gone on and we might find some mistakes or things that we've been doing. That all of a sudden this little light goes off and you go, oh yeah, okay? So that's why we're really big on being here, meeting, networking, getting to know people as we go through. Thank you, Denny. Bob?
I met a guy that's a master chef and a CPA, so if you need your books cooked, he's the guy.
Murray.
I think 1 million cups is just incredible. I attended last week, right after this meeting, Orlando Tech, and I tried to figure out, should I be a member of Orlando Tech? And I'm a tech company specializing in AI, and to be honest, I couldn't I couldn't say to myself, hey, I need to join Orlando Tech for $300, to be a member of that whatever they're trying to build. I'm not negative, but the value 1 million cups is providing is just invaluable per se. Just a matter of fact that this all is free, and this welcoming environment. But on top of that, what we're struggling, I guess, one of the main things we're struggling is people were our outreach. So how could we do better from that perspective, and specifically in tech, what you call projects, so that the projects like, sorry, I forgot the name, I'm bad with name. This kind of projects bring people here, because Orlando is really beautiful place for such kind of projects. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, so your question was how
can
we collectively, meaning 1 million cups, or as an individual?
And my suggestion is the way how we're doing social media outreach in 5 channels, and it looks like more like a spamming rather than doing social media. We're posting 3 posts a day. You know what I mean? 3 posts a day. I don't know.
That's a lot or a little?
It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot, and unnecessarily a lot, I think. It's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Isn't your wife taking care of that for us?
She's trying, but she's trying to We'll probably come up with a, we'll
she
try to
using a
come up
service?
with better model, maybe,
Yeah.
social media model.
Well, that's, you guys put it together and
Yeah, we'll see if we can.
just keep track of it, and this is what we're doing and how we're working to grow the community.
Is she using a service?
Sure, yeah, automation,
Yeah.
yeah, she is. But it's not about the burden itself, it's the way how it was used to be. 3 posts a day.
Okay, Sean? Yep.
Thank you. There are very, very few original inventions. We all think we are smart. No. It's already there. Our job is to figure it out and bring that to your business. That's what you should be doing. More you talk with more people smarter than you, who have a lot of experience, you are better off. That's what it takes. It's talking. Don't go with a hidden agenda. Listen whatever they have to say. If you don't like it, don't insult them. Thank you very much. I'll get back to you and walk away. That's what you have to do. That's what I do. I spend more than half of my time in learning, even today. You won't believe it. Every second I'm learning. Okay, I know all my businesses, more than 170 teams, all domains, everything I know. That tells me if I know more than you guys know, you are not going to make it, because I can't be that good. Okay, so you have to know your domain inside out. That's what, especially if you need money, that's what they will be looking for, investors. You should know inside out of your business. If anybody else knows, you are not going to make it. Okay? So go with that attitude, learn every second. That's what it is. And most of the businesses are not, no, I'm not kidding. I can give all my businesses are all cut and paste. My own way. I created something out of nothing, everything I do. Okay? So I'm open for anybody and everybody wants to meet with me. Okay? I can figure out your business model. I figured out his business model already. I could see that. And his problem is basically people. God knows, hundreds of people here to deal with. You need one weak link there, gone. See, that's what he said. You have to figure out what is the weak link. Everywhere there's a weak link. You have to cut that out quickly. Without that, you can't build a business model, forget about financial model. No, you can't. Okay? So I'm available to help you guys out. I have a short time left. Okay? I'm here I'm free. I will give you any time you want to. So think like that. Try to connect with somebody who is far smarter than you. That's what you do. Then way you can climb up. You don't get somebody just one. There are too many are consultants and mentors and everything, but it's blind leading the blind in my book. I can give you a lot of examples. Okay, so you have to have that insight. I'm going to get it, and you can get it. I'm not kidding. Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So you know how Sean can say that there's nothing new that's been being built? He saw a log rolling down a hill and said, I'm going to invent a wheel out of that. Say, he's been around that long.
Yeah. Everybody laughs about high-tech. Everybody talks about high-tech. You know, the whole industry automation came about from sausage factory. Henry Ford went to Iowa in a sausage factory. That's where he learned automation. Otherwise, I would have been walking on a barefoot still today. That's how the car started. Okay? So that's where it's all about. Same thing with Ray Kroc. All these people you have to see, they didn't come for high-tech. I'm not high-tech. I'm dinosaur age. I never use this one for gardeners. Okay? I use my brain. So we have a brain. We use hardly 3% of our right side of the brain, which is the creative. Think for a minute. So if you can use it more, you'll be surprised. It's up to you. You can make it. Anything you want to. Spend some time with me. Within 15 minutes, I'll convince you. Okay? Thank you.
Welcome. And Sean's right. You know, something he said about reading and personally developing, a weird statistic is almost 80% of all people who graduate high school never read a book again. And it isn't much better for college graduates. It's about 60%, between 50 and 60%. That is the problem. You should always be learning. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he always said, you know, before you get involved in something, you should learn a little bit about it. If somebody says to you, hey, Denny, can you help me with? And Denny knows nothing about it. He goes, yeah, heck yeah, I will. And then starts reading and learning if he has to. Pat Williams always said that too. Okay, yeah, I can do that and learn it. But Robert Kiyosaki always said, if you're going to get into like investing in stocks or wanting to get into investing in real estate, you need to learn about that. Otherwise, you're going to lose a ton of money doing it. So it's important, if you're not reading, you know, we try to give you some good books and stuff that you should read to help you, because once your mind expands, it can't shrink back again. It's how you learn. It's how you grow. And as entrepreneurs, that's probably the most important thing to us that we have, is developing this muscle. Because if you think about it, if you have a house, we've all upgraded our house, we've all upgraded our computers and our cars and our electronics and our TVs. But most people don't upgrade their mind. That's a problem, you know? So it's important that you continue to find things that can help and help you grow. And speaking of great books, Carol Dweck wrote a book called Mindset. Mindset. Get it. You can go onto the library, take advantage of Jane and the stuff that she's sharing with us, and become a member of Orange County Library. If you're not, or even the library system in the county you live in, they have an app at Orange County, it's called Hoopla, where you can log in and you can get access to everything that the library has. Videotapes, CDs, movies, I mean, everything that they have. And I just learned recently, and I haven't added it yet, that's next, there's a second app that they have, which is more specialized in things, that gives you whatever you can't get on Hoopla, you can get through this app. So that's all free, you know? That's the amazing thing.
And to add on to that, Orange County will actually, if you find a book that you want, they'll deliver it to your house. You don't even have to go there.
Exactly.
They'll deliver it to your house.
Yep, yep, exactly, and make it easy.
You know, the main principal question for me is every time I come here is how we can grow this community.
Yeah.
You know, 2 years ago when I did my presentation, I brought my grandson and his friend, and we did a little setup there, filmed the whole thing. There were twice as many people. Okay? I think it's very important, you know, when I Sunday go in church, it says always when you leave church, you enter into the mission field. You know, you have to go out here with this kind of desire and talk about the Million Cups. You know, I make it a rule that every so often on LinkedIn I talk about the 1 million cups. I think it's very important. People don't know what they miss out on by not coming here. You know, so that would be my recommendation to everybody who's on LinkedIn, who's on social media. Talk about us. Talk about yourself. You know, share your experience you have here.
Yeah.
One of the better things I did in the last 50 years coming to this place.
Yeah, exactly. I took a picture of the diva that was talking the other night and posted it on social media, and I got a bunch of comments on it. So, you know, yeah, and that's how you can help grow. You know, so not only grow your brain, but grow the community, because the more people that come, the more people you get to have access to, and the more people we get to know. So it's important that you do that. And something else that Vern just talked about, you know, one of the things that really amazes me is when I talk with somebody and we're having this conversation and I'll say, have you ever met so-and-so, or have you ever thought about adding this into your business, because it really complements what you're doing. And people are just so, boom, no, I'm doing this. Don't even bother me. I don't even want to talk to you. Okay, so what you're telling me is you want to throw away another $50,000 to $100,000 a year or more in extra revenue. And it's like, and they walk away, you know? And it's just one of those crazy things that happen where collectively in your business, you need to look at your business as the best way to describe it, when I talk with people about setting up their business, especially in the banking side and the setting up their corporate side, is creating ultimately some form of like a holding company or a shell company and having different streams of income that go in to that company. I think the biggest mistake that we as entrepreneurs make is, I got to do it all. I need to know everything. No, you don't. The most successful entrepreneurs are ones that know, hey, I need somebody that's really good with AI technology. Who do I need to talk to? How can I get them to be a part of my team? I need somebody that can help me with social media. Can I do those things? Yeah, I can do it. Do I want to do it? No. That's not where my strong suit is. So you need to get good as an entrepreneur at not only getting really good at what you want to do, but how can you get other people or other legs of income into your business that complement it? How can you bring somebody alongside you that can be a business partner that can help you grow that leg of your business? Because it's ultimately going to benefit you. And then that's allowing you to systematize your business, which is allowing your business to expand and grow, so that you can walk away and come back a year later and your business will grow whether you're there or not. That's everybody's dream ultimately. Or I like the question, are you looking to sell or be bought out? Heck yeah, I'd love to be bought out. Who wouldn't? But if you can't, if you can create a subscription model where you have income coming in and cash flow coming in every month, every day into your business, that's a great thing. My friend Frank always said, he said, ideally, you want to be in a situation where you create more transactions a day that put money into your pocket, not take it out. Okay? So that's Scott, did you have a question or?
Well, I just wanted to add something to what you were saying. I heard this a couple weeks ago and I love it. People who think they know everything are right.
Yeah.
Because they can't learn anymore.
Yeah.
So they know all that they're going to know.
Exactly. And that's so true. They can't see past the blinders.
If you know everything,
You know?
can't learn anymore. You're done.
So that's a great thing.
I'm not saying it's right. It's mindset.
Yep, it is mindset. So, like, follow us on social media, share, tag us, hashtag 1,000,000cups /Orlando, and connect with somebody. Go get a cup of coffee. I've been going over to, what's it called, CFS over here on Church Street, and I've gone to one up in Oviedo. Great little independent coffee shop. Try the lavender latte. It's out of this world. Really unique. And next week, we're still looking for some presenters. So if you haven't presented, why do you want to do that? Because if you're looking for money, you can attract investors or you can attract people that can help you get there. It'll help you with marketing and brand awareness, hiring and retaining talent, networking and partnership, but best of all, practice and feedback for your business, which is going to lead ultimately to your growth. And keep an open mind on what you're doing. How can you add to your business? And also something else. If you know you're going to be going out of the area, there's people there that you don't know. Who can you talk to there that might be able to help you grow your business? You never know. So thank you. We'll see you next week. That's 166 and a half hours, 9,990 minutes, or 599,399, 398, 397. Thank you all. Have a great week. Bring a friend back with you next week.